Okay, so it's come to that time of year, just 1 week now until Rogue One: A Star Wars Story hits UK cinemas. And what better way to start off that 1 week countdown than by talking about the movie that brought back the entire Star Wars saga, and that is Star Wars: The Force Awakens, the only Star Wars movie that I buy on Blu-ray because it's the only one that I choose to, because I refuse to buy the others because this one doesn't have a special edition. It never will, hopefully. But yeah, so let's get straight into Star Wars: The Force Awakens. It's weird to think this movie came out less than a year ago. It feels like it's been around for my whole life now. But this movie is special to me because it is the first Star Wars movie that I got to watch in cinemas. Now, when the original trilogy came out, I wasn't born. Yeah, I grew up with them from a young age, but I wasn't born when they came out in cinemas. And the prequel movies, I wasn't that interested in when they came out. I mean, obviously I saw them when I was younger, but I never saw them in cinemas, and I was kind of young when they came out anyway in cinemas, so The Force Awakens is the first one I actually went to see. Watched it in IMAX opening day. I was so excited, and I absolutely loved it. What I love about this movie is people say it's just a rehash of the first Star Wars movie, but it's not. You've got the big space weapon that takes out entire planets, but this one actually takes out entire star systems. Star systems, many planets, but that's not what I'm here to talk about. People are saying that it's similar to the original, and it is. It has a cool aerial fight scene at the end, and you've got similar elements going for it. But this movie does it all differently, and it does it for a new audience as well as the old audience, and I love the movie for that. When the opening crawl came up, I was just watching. I had tears in my eyes. I was having a massive smile on my face, and I was like, I'm watching a Star Wars movie in the cinema. This can't get much better. And it starts off, and the opening crawl's like, Luke Skywalker is missing, and immediately I was like, holy crap, this movie is going to be awesome. And what this movie is, it brings back the old cast, but it doesn't focus entirely on them. What I love is that it introduces all the new characters like Rey and Finn, and you get to know them throughout the course of this movie. It's not just they're here, but we have to focus more on the old characters for nostalgia. I mean, Luke Skywalker doesn't appear in this thing till the very end. And before I move on, I'm going to say massive spoilers for this movie. Everybody's seen it by now, but if you somehow haven't and you're watching a review of it, massive spoilers, because I'm going to spoil the crap out of Force Awakens. It's been out a year now. You should have watched it. If you haven't, disappointment. But this movie isn't a Luke Skywalker movie. It's about the hunt for Luke Skywalker. And what they do best is they focus on the new characters trying to find Luke Skywalker. And it's like, by the end, you see him. And you're like, I can't wait to see this dude in more movies. But I'm glad that we got to meet the new characters first. So that's what I'm saying about this movie. It just does everything so well. And it relies on nostalgia, of course. A lot of the time it does rely on nostalgia to introduce some scenes, but that's for the fans and the newcomers to the movie, children and whatever that are actually watching a Star Wars movie for the first time. They'll still be able to follow this movie, and I just love that. So yeah, the basic plot: Luke Skywalker's missing, and we meet Rey on Jakku, who she's lonely. She doesn't know her parents. Yeah, we've seen that before, but she meets up with Finn, who is a stormtrooper, and I absolutely love Finn's character from the very beginning. They're on Jakku, and Poe is fighting the First Order. Basically, the Empire got destroyed. The end of Return of the Jedi. The whole Vader redemption, kills Palpatine, and the Jedi have triumphed. The Rebels have triumphed, and the First Order has risen from those ashes, led by Kylo Ren, who I'll talk about in a bit. But Finn starts off as this stormtrooper who's in the First Order, and he doesn't want to kill people. He's just sort of like, I'm passive, I don't like this shit, I want to move on from this. And the only thing that really bothers me is that when he does stop being a stormtrooper, he has no problem with killing, but I don't care because the guy's cool. He's brilliant. So yeah, he was a stormtrooper, and he escapes to Jakku with Poe. They escape in a TIE fighter, and I love the relationship between Finn and Poe. They are just the ultimate bromance couple. They are the two best characters in this film. It's so good to see them interact. There's not enough of it because you don't get enough Poe in this movie. But yeah, they escape, they go down to Jakku, and Rey finds BB-8, the little droid, who is Poe's droid, who has a bit of the map to Luke Skywalker. And of course he recognises Finn because in the crash Poe lost his jacket, which Finn ends up picking up. And I've made it more complicated than it is, really. Basically, the plot is a bit more simple, but there's a lot going on in this movie, and it really does work. It really does work. And from the very first sort of time we see the Millennium Falcon, things just get so great. You know, they're on Jakku, and they're like, yeah, we have to get off this place. The First Order have come. That they're after BB-8, and they get on the Millennium Falcon. But you know what's coming because they're running, and a ship gets destroyed. And Finn's like, what about that one? And Rey's like, that's garbage. And then she's like, the garbage will do. And they jump on, and it's the Millennium Falcon, and it ensues for such a cool fight. It's like an aerial fight. They go through the Star Destroyer, and TIE fighters are coming through, and Finn's shooting them down, and you've got the cool Star Wars music playing, and you're just like, holy crap, Star Wars is back, baby. This is amazing. And then they meet up with Han Solo, and just the story just goes on from there, and it's great. It's really, really great. So let's talk about the villain, Kylo Ren. The dude's creepy. The dude's like obsessed with Darth Vader, who's of course his grandfather, because I didn't actually mention this, I should have mentioned this first. He is the son of Han Solo and Princess Leia. She's Princess, not General Leia. And I love the fact that they even go back to that at the beginning when they're talking about General Leia, and Max von Sydow's like, she's always royalty to me, and it's just like, yes, she's Princess Leia, not General Leia. And yeah, they meet up with Han Solo, and the Kylo Ren is the son of Han Solo and Princess Leia, and he's like this creepy grandfather obsessed guy, and he has the helmet, the burned out Vader helmet, and he's like talking to it all the time, and you're just sort of thinking, this guy, is he mentally challenged, or? But it's just done so well. He is such a great character, because he's a little bitch, ultimately. He can't fight, he's got anger issues, but what I like about that is that he's not the stereotypical sort of badass villain. He's got that to him. He's very powerful with the Force. Like at the beginning, when Poe shoots a blaster bolt at him and he stops it in midair with the Force. That was so cool. And it's something we hadn't seen. He is possibly the most powerful Force user we've seen so far, but he doesn't know how to use it. He's a bitch when trying to use it. And that was really interesting to me, because you've got this character who has all this power who can't use it, and it just makes a more interesting character instead of an overpowered douchebag where you're thinking he could just kill the characters with one strike. So I love that Kylo Ren is that character. And there's a lot of good moments with Kylo Ren, especially, you know, when he's hunting down Rey and he's interrogating her, and he takes off his mask for the first time, and you can just see that she's like, that's not what I was expecting. And when I was sitting in the cinema, I saw it and I was like, that's not what I was expecting. Because he's just this young guy, Adam Driver, you know, he doesn't look like a villain. And I like that about him. So that was awesome. There's other villains in the movie, such as Captain Phasma, who are just completely underused, and Snoke, who... People are coming up with theories like Snoke's Mace Windu, or Snoke is Emperor Palpatine. Nope, Snoke is Snoke. Snoke is just a new character who seduced Kylo Ren to the dark side. Just let that be. Just let him be Snoke. He doesn't have to be anyone else. But yeah. Then there's Maz Kanata, who every character in this movie is done with like prosthetic makeup, and everything's done with the makeup and the props and practically. And she's the only CGI character, and it doesn't stand out like a sore thumb like you think it would. Now there's a lot of hints to Rey's parentage. She has this flashback when she touches the lightsaber in Maz's castle, like it's Anakin's lightsaber that Finn ends up using. I love that traitor scene when he fights the stormtrooper, and it's like, yeah, that's his friend, but you know that he has to fight him because otherwise he's going to die. And I really like that scene. And I like how Finn just didn't take the guy out with the lightsaber. He actually doesn't know how to use it very well, and he gets battered by a stormtrooper. Really like that. But anyway, yeah, there's so many characters in this movie, so much to do with them, and not all of them get a time to shine. But let's just get to the ending. They're on Starkiller Base, and you've got Han Solo goes to confront Kylo Ren, whose real name is Ben Solo, and he's like, Ben! And he walks onto that bridge, and you just know what's coming. Chewie's looking down, and you're like, oh, come on, Chewbacca. Just stay strong, buddy. And he walks into the bridge, and you know what's coming, and he turns to Kylo Ren. And he's like, I can't remember the exact dialogue, but it's something like, you know, come on, we can fight this, we can get this out of you. And Kylo Ren's like, yeah, I need help. and he passes Han Solo the lightsaber, but as he's doing it, he just stabs him through the chest, and Han Solo falls down the shaft of the Starkiller base, and he dies. And that was the most emotional moment, because Han Solo is my favourite Star Wars character of all time, and he was so great in this movie. And to see him just die like that, it got me all emotional. And Chewbacca's reaction, where he's just like Wookiee screaming, and he shoots Kylo Ren, and he's got like, you know, he's limping around, he's punching himself, and all the blood's coming out. It's just like, well, that's interesting that he's actually injured during this fight, but I feel bad for Chewie at this point. But yeah, you've got the final showdown, and this scene was awesome. I mean, Rey's Force usage was already hinted at this point, because she uses a Jedi mind trick on a Stormtrooper, played by Daniel Craig, which was pretty awesome. But yeah, she gets out of the restraints. But we don't actually see the full extent of her Force usage until this fight. So you've got Kylo Ren versus Finn, and Finn's getting his ass handed to him. You know, he's putting in his all with the lightsaber, but Kylo Ren stabs him in the spine and Force pushes him, and it's just like, how's Finn getting out of that now? Finn's done for. And then Rey just, she gets like Force pushed into a tree, and she gets up, and she's just like, I've got to do this. And she pulls Luke's or Anakin's lightsaber out of the snow. She just Force pulls it out of the snow, and it goes into her hand, and you're just like, that was the coolest shit ever. And she goes for Kylo Ren. She's taking him out, and they're pretty evenly matched, and it doesn't make a lot of sense because, like I said, he's a powerful Force user. She's never used it before. So it doesn't make a huge deal of sense that this is happening, but it is. And you're just watching it, and my mouth was hitting the floor, and I was like, holy crap. Rey is a Jedi. And I mean, I'm hoping it gets explained. I have my own theories, which I'm not going to talk about here because this video will end up being an hour long, but I have my own theories about why and how she's a Jedi. But it's just so cool that she did this, because it opens your mind for speculation. So yeah, she basically takes out Kylo Ren, so she's pretty overpowered at this point. And Kylo Ren's just on Starkiller base, and the Starkiller base is blowing up because like Poe and all the troops are blowing up, and it's like, yeah, this is awesome. This is really cool, and it's not even that similar to the first Star Wars movie. Stop pointing out the similarities. But yeah, the ending of this movie, they go back to the Resistance base, and Leia hugs Rey, and you're just like, Chewie, you're forgetting Chewie. But yeah, R2-D2's been in a coma for the whole movie. And he wakes up, just miraculously wakes up, and C-3PO is like, oh, my old friend, I've missed you so much. And then R2-D2 does this beeping thing, and C-3PO slaps him in the head straight away, and you're just like, that's my classic pairing. I love those guys. And yeah, so R2 has the rest of the map to Luke Skywalker, and R2 and BB-8, you know, they show it, and we've got like Rey, and she's like, holy crap, I know where Luke is, and she goes off in the Falcon with Chewie to this island, and Luke's just a hermit at this point, and she's got his lightsaber in the very end. I was clenching my fist at this point like, oh. Luke turns around, pulls off his hood, and you're just like, that's Luke Skywalker. And she passes him the lightsaber, and the movie ends. And you're just like, that was fucking incredible. And I cannot wait for episode 8 to see where that leads. So Star Wars The Force Awakens is a special movie to me. It brought back all the nostalgia, the soundtrack, the characters, but also the new characters are great. I love Star Wars The Force Awakens a lot, and I can't wait to see what this universe brings us next. We've got another year to wait, but at least it's only 1 week until we get more Star Wars. So what do you guys think of The Force Awakens, and how excited are you for Rogue One now? 1 week, folks. 1 week. The road to Rogue One is over. Well, it's not really over, we still have a week, but the videos to Road to Rogue One are over. So you can watch all of those on your way to counting it down. You've got 8 now. So you've got over a week. You can just skip out Clone Wars because that movie sucks ass. So thank you guys for watching this video, and I will see you guys very soon.